Jacob's whole family felt the weight and the stress of this famine, as we see in their interaction together in this passage. Now, let me just say to you right now that Jesus invites us to bring our burdens to Him. He invites us to bring the things that overwhelm us to Him. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Jesus says, bring your burdens to me. Bring the things that are stressing you out. Bring the things that are overwhelming you. Bring the things that are weighing you down and weighing down upon your family, and I'll take them from you, and I'll give you rest. It pleases Jesus. Listen, it pleases Jesus when you bring your burdens to Him. That's why He invites us. It pleases Him. And whatever burden you may have today, take it to Jesus. He wants you to bring it to Him. That's why He extends the invitation. It would be His joy to take your burden and to give you rest for your soul. And again in verse 1, now the famine was severe in the land, and it came to pass when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought from Egypt, that their father Jacob said to them, "Go back, buy us a little food." So over time, Jacob and his family, they ate all the grain that they had purchased in Egypt. Again, we don't know how long it took Jacob's family to eat all the grain, but we can be certain it was more than a week or a couple weeks. Going down to Egypt wasn't like going down to Aldi, where you could just run down real quick and get some more food and come back. It was a 250-mile trip one way. And they're traveling on donkeys, going down to Egypt. So it's likely that months and months have passed by, and now they're out of food. And Jacob told his sons to go back to Egypt, buy some more food for the family. But verse 3, Judah speaks up, and Judah spoke to him, saying, the man, speaking of Joseph, the Egyptian official, the man solemnly warned us, saying, "You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you send our brother with us, we'll go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said to us, you shall not see my face unless your brother is with you." He repeats that twice. Dad, he told us. And here's Judah. Judah, tells his dad, "No, we're not going down there unless you send Benjamin with us." And here they are. They've run out of food. They can't go back to Egypt without Benjamin. And Judah says to his father, I told you what the guy said. If you don't send Benjamin with us, we're not going. Judah refused to obey his father, which I think just shows the severity of the circumstances here. I mean, it's causing conflict in the family now between Jacob and his sons, where his sons are just flat out refusing to obey him. "Oh, we're not doing that, Dad." Now remember, all the sons are adults at this point, and they're just saying, no, this is what he said. We got to bring Benjamin with us, so we're not going. And then Israel said, verse 6, "Why do you deal so wrongfully with me, as to tell the man whether you had still another brother?" Jacob is frustrated here by this situation because he's being forced into a decision that he doesn't want to make. He doesn't want to send Benjamin down to Egypt, but he's got no choice now because they're out of food. And so he takes out his frustration on his sons. He says, "Why'd you put me in this situation? Why'd you have to tell him you've got another brother? Why can't you just keep your mouth shut?" Ever do that? Ever take out your frustration on someone else? Kick the cat, as they say, right? Yell at your kids when your kids really haven't done anything wrong? Or yell at someone, yell at the dog, yell at the toaster. It's not toasting your stupid toast. Why can't you just work? Why can't you just toast my bread? Or you're just frustrated. And here's the thing, listen. For Jacob, really, his frustration was with himself. His frustration was with himself because he's the father, he's the patriarch, he's the leader of the family. And here's the thing, he doesn't know what to do in this situation. He doesn't know what to do in this situation. He doesn't know how to lead his family through this, and he's exposed. It's obvious that he doesn't know what to do. It's obvious to his family that he doesn't know how to handle this. It's a very overwhelming situation. And he's exposed. He doesn't know what to do. And I would say for us as men, we don't like being in a situation where it's obvious that we don't know what we're doing. Most of the time we can fake it pretty well. But sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we're just overwhelmed. And we don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do. So what should we do? Well, James chapter 1 says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and He will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. Well, what do you do when you don't know what to do? You pray. You pray. You ask God for wisdom, and God promises to give you wisdom. Divine wisdom, godly wisdom. God promises to show you what to do. In Proverbs chapter 2, it says, yes, if you cry out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God, God's knowledge. For the Lord gives wisdom, from His mouth comes knowledge and understanding. In Proverbs it says, cry out to God for discernment. Lift up your voice for understanding. Search for her as for hidden treasure, and the Lord will give you wisdom. But so often, instead of praying, crying out for discernment and lifting our voices for understanding, we just get frustrated and take it out on people. Jacob doesn't know what to do. He's not praying, at least not yet. He will. He's not asking God for help. He's not asking God for wisdom. He's not asking God for direction. And so he's frustrated. And he takes out his frustration on his sons, and he says to them again in verse 6, why'd you deal so wrongfully with me to tell the man whether you had still another brother? And notice verse 7, but they, so now all the brothers are responding to this. It's not just Judah, they, the whole family's involved in this argument now. All the sons are pushing back against dad. This is a stressful situation for this family. It's a very, very difficult time for this family. But they said, the man asked us pointedly about ourselves and our family, saying, is your father still alive? Have you another brother? Again, they didn't know that it was Joseph, but that's why Joseph is asking these questions. Is your father still alive? Do you happen to have another brother? He wants to know, is his father still alive? And how is Benjamin, his younger brother? But they just think this is a government official just asking questions, and kind of a strange question to ask, but okay, yeah, our father is still alive, and yeah, we do have another brother. And we told him, according to these words, could we possibly have known that he would say, bring your brother down? He pointedly asked us, do you have another brother? How could we possibly know? He's going to ask us to bring our other brother down to Egypt when he asked the question. Did you want us to lie to him, Dad?